Hello there.
Why, hello there. It's now time for the Brandon, Zach, and Aaron show. I see.
Of course. But of course. How's it going, Miss Peterson?
It's going pretty good.
This is P.
Mrs. P.
Yes.
Oh boy, oh boy. Are we gonna do some Kahoot time?
Yeah. What do I got planned for us today? Little
Oh, you got
Kahoot.
plans?
Yeah, I got plans. I have lesson plans every day. Do you
I
think I'm
doubt
just
that.
always just like winging it?
Nice.
What did Zach say? I just saw his bubble.
He said he doubts that.
But I have lesson plans every week.
I doubt that.
I do.
I doubt
Yeah,
it.
do I have a tendency to go
I doubt
rogue
it.
and toss them in the air? Yeah, I do.
Oh boy.
History class. This is P.
Hey, hi.
This is P.
We need Aaron in here whenever Aaron joins, and then Mally joins, and then there we go.
Oh my god. All right, guys, just
I'm here.
Molly.
This is P.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is gonna be interesting.
Why is that?
ZFD.
Why is this microphone always turned off?
Cause he mutes it, my man. Come on.
All right.
Oh.
Are we ready to start our
We're
fun
waiting
game?
on one man. One man is down.
Yeah.
Our
Where's
trio is not complete right now.
No, it's not. We laugh. I feel like it's a radio show when I see you with your boom and your filter going.
Oh, thanks.
Brandon's got his headphones on. It's a radio show, isn't it, Valley?
Yeah, I look like a talk show host with this mic on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What'd you say about me, Miss Peterson?
I said, doesn't it look like we have a talk show or a radio show going on with Brandon and his
Yes.
equipment?
The entertainer.
Oh, he turned me off. Turned off his camera.
Yeah, I turned off my camera. I'm turning it back on though.
Okay.
I want to see if I can. Oh, there he is. There's my boy Aaron.
Mrs. P.
All right, guys.
Are you ready for some history?
I am ready for history. Are y'all ready for some history?
I don't know. Oh, hey, there we go. How you do?
How you do? Mine's Brandon.
Maybe.
I got my other camera going on.
Got multiple camera. Oh,
I got multiple cameras.
that was, yeah, that's a little crazy there, big guy. All right. So today,
Cough.
what are we talking about? Well, we're still in the 1980s. Woohoo!
We're almost in the 2000s, my boy.
No, we're not.
I
We're
know.
actually in the
We're at
1920s.
Yay! 80s. Ronald Reagan has 2 terms. He gets elected in 1980 and 1984. I'm going to start recording now, yeah. And then his vice president, George Herbert Walker Bush, is elected. It's only second, third time that we've had the vice president get elected. Harry S. Truman, LBJ were the last ones, also one-term presidents. They get elected, and they just serve that one. Okay. I know that y'all can only see the screen, but I'm watching your heads bob.
Aaron's
I
head
got
bob though. That's pretty good.
Your heads are like bobbing, so it's kind of funny.
Oh, oh, the the delay, the delay.
Okay, so let's keep talking about the
The heck?
1980s and what was going on when we left yesterday. We left with what was going on in Central America.
Mm-hmm.
We had a tendency to throw in using the Monroe Doctrine of 1824, where no European powers could deal with anything in North America or South America. And then the Roosevelt Corley, sorry, I can't say the word Corley, came about from Teddy Roosevelt at the turn of the 20th century, when he said that, they would take care of all responsibilities and be the policeman for that region. So let me present this. We're going to talk about it just a little bit, and then I've got a cahoots for us to play.
Oh, boy.
Another
You got
Kahoot?
what?
Yes,
Another
sir.
Kahoot.
Mrs. P.
I know.
This is P.
I love to go back and watch these recordings of y'all. Allie just sits here, just as sweet and good as she can be. And then we got the wave.
Join
going
us,
on.
Mally.
I don't
Mally,
like
join
to
us.
do
Join us, Mally.
It's like
You're
a party.
Join us.
We're all like, woo! Okay, let's keep going. Can y'all see
Do it.
what I'm showing?
Yep.
Okay. Since y'all have a habit of not telling me until a couple minutes in.
I don't see it.
America. We're talking about Honduras, Nicaragua, Guatemala, those little countries that connect Panama, that connect between Mexico and South America, that little strip of Central America. And it's vitally important that we always have friendly governments there. Part of it is the Panama Canal. Whoever controls the canal, or if terrorists ever took it over or anything, then that substantially increases the amount of time it takes for cargo ships and military ships to go all the way around South America, instead of just cutting through from the Pacific, go through the Panama Canal, end up in the Gulf of Mexico, boom, you're in the Atlantic Ocean.
Mhm.
So it cuts that time. So it's really important that you try to keep those little countries kind of in line and favorable to your own government. And that's what we've tried to do over the years. But at the same time, though, we have a tendency to support groups that we think are sympathetic to our ideas and values. And sometimes they are the bad guy. They're very, very bad. So we're going to see this in El Salvador, see it in Nicaragua. We're going to give aid. We're going to have advisors helping fight. Um, there was a communist coup in October 1983 in Grenada, which is a teeny tiny island country right there in Central America, in that little section in the Gulf of Mexico. And oops, we don't want to see that. We sent in troops. So here's where our trouble spots in Central America and the Caribbean during the 1980s were. Panama, which is where the canal is, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Belize, Honduras. So really Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and then Panama. Jamaica's had some problems. Haiti has had several governments being overthrown. They've had a hurricane. That was a hurricane hit in the past 5 years that pretty much leveled the island. They've had a major earthquake. They've had just complete disasters since then. They had a dictator who was in office up until 1986. I think he was in office for like over 20 years, and then it just left an absolute mess. And he takes back over. He stages a coup 5 years later in '91. We have socialists elected Jamaica. There was a big concern. The prime minister elected to the Jamaica. It's part of the British Commonwealth, but they had a socialist, a well-known socialist elected prime minister in 1989. So there was concern that Jamaica might go socialist or communist. Cuba, of course, is communist. Still is today. See how close it is? 90 miles from Key West, the tip of Florida, to Cuba.
Yeah.
So, with that, Grenada is this little teeny tiny island. It's the closest to northern South America, Venezuela, and that's where we're going to send troops in. So it's right there. These other islands, this is Antigua, St. Lucia. They were all part of either the British colonies or the Spanish colonies. These run through here. Here's Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. This island is actually divided in half, Haiti and the Dominican Republic. This is the island that Christopher Columbus, actually landed on, is this island right here with that. So there's our trouble spots. In Nicaragua, we had the fall of the dictator. And here is this massive street rally demonstration supporting the new leader of the Sandistas, which was a socialist group. They're, showing their support and everything. Nicaraguan Contras, those were ones that were fighting against the established government. We were trying to help them with that. Here is a special forces group that was patrolling. Basically, we were helping support guerrilla warfare, much like Vietnam with China and the Viet Cong. We were doing this with the Contras. We were basically taking the same role with this. Here, look, this political cartoon with Ronald Reagan. There he is. He's supposed to be sitting at his desk in the Oval Office. I have a plan. We're going to send Marines to invade Nicaragua. Our overwhelming firepower will vaporize their meager military machine. And then we're going to, a saturation assault of our crack troops will crush their poorly trained army. Look, he swacks the paper and
swacks the paper away.
Yeah, just smacks it. And then he's going to seize their capital, topple their government, place the Contras in power. And that's how we can account for, we can show the people of Nicaragua the beauty of democracy. Whoa, wait a minute. That's overthrowing another foreign country's government.
Yeah.
That's basically war. How does that show the beauty of democracy?
Does it not?
I don't think so. Do you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I would really think that would show beauty of democracy.
I wouldn't think so at all.
Maybe like
All
destruction.
right, so here is American troops when they did the invasion of Grenada, and they were searching through buildings looking for resistance. What? So the 1984 election is very important. So of course Reagan is running for office, and he's very strong in popularity. He's going to be a tough one to go against. Walter Mondale, he's a senator, is going to get the Democratic nomination. Geraldine Ferraro, she's from New York, is going to be the first woman to run for vice president. Okay, she runs for president. Everybody was like, oh, it was Hillary Clinton. No, we've had several women before then. We had Pauline from Alaska for the Republicans. The Democrats are going to have Geraldine Ferraro. And Mondale had been Carter's vice president. So from 1976 to 1980, he was the vice president. He ran for office in 80 and was defeated. Well, Carter and Mondale ran for office in 80 and defeated. So in the 1984, 4 years later, Mondale is going to run for office again, kind of like how Nixon did, okay? Mm-hmm. But because he was Carter's vice president, everybody kind of went, no, we don't want him back, no. So it is a huge sweep. The only two places did not vote for Mondale was Minnesota, his home state. You better get your own home state, y'all. If you cannot win your home state, you shouldn't be running for office. And then the District of Columbia. Electoral votes alone, look at this number, 525 to 13. Oh man, that's tough.
That is tough.
That's a lot of them. Okay. So here's Geraldine Farrar, and then there's Walter Mondale. So, but she made history being the first woman to be on a party ticket as the vice president candidate.
Nice.
So, there was a question that Mr. Reagan was asking, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? But they had record unemployment. So it was kind of, things were better, but they weren't better because of the unemployment. So it kind of was an oxymoron, you could say. Here's the election of 1984. This shows every state. Once again, Reagan swept the Deep South. And this is the beginning. It started in 1980. And since the 1984 election, these states through here have regularly in the Deep South, which was originally the Confederacy of of America. The rebels in the American Civil War have voted Republican since 1980, 1984 on a consistent basis. They went blue, okay? And in this picture, Mondale's red. So, there's a little bitty thing for the District of Columbia and Minnesota. That's it. Even a state typically like Hawaii, which is typically Democratic, they went Republican. So that was a key thing. The same time that Ronald Reagan's getting sworn in, the Soviet Union is getting a new chairman of the Communist Party or prime minister or leader, however you want to call his title. He was actually called the chairman of the Communist Party, Mikhail Gorbachev. And he's the one who's got that wine birthmark on the top of his head. He's balding. And so you'll always see the pictures, the cartoons where they draw that birthmark on him.
Yeah.
He's going to be the one that starts kind of lifting up everything, glasnost or open. And they're going to try to start introducing a capitalist economy. So letting people start doing things where they're making money on their own, they're not getting controlled and told what to do by the government. But the key thing is some political liberties and free speech is going to come out of this. There is Mr. Gorbachev.
Oh, that's the birthmark.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's a good birthmark.
Looks like a rocket.
Well, a rocket or, like something.
Looks like a pickaxe.
Or a bird got him.
Yeah.
Looks like a bird pooped on him.
Yep. All right. So he immediately starts cutting back on nuclear weapons. And what he did was he looked around and the world was changing so fast that the previous three rulers, in 3 years, they'd gone through 3 rulers for the Communist Party. And Gorbachev was like, we need to step back and we need to become more global, but we need to become more open and effectively working with the world and not isolating ourselves. The previous 3 chairmen had all been considerably older, 10 to 15 years older. They were veterans of World War II. Even Gorbachev himself was, but he was young. He was part of the younger generation. And he wants to reach out and work with the West. There's a lot of opportunities to improve your nation by working with other nations. So that's going to be his goal. They're going to meet together 4 different times. They actually got along pretty well. Originally in 1980, Ronald Reagan called the USSR the evil empire. He made comparisons of the communist chairman, as being Darth Vader.
Oh, nice.
I am your father.
Actually not. He likes Star Wars. So he references all the time.
He references everything.
This is the beginning of the Cold War, the beginning of the end, y'all.
So wait, if he references all the stuff, does he always say, I have a bad feeling about this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got a
Other
bad
things
feeling
that
about
Reagan
that.
got involved in foreign policy-wise, the Philippines. They had a dictator who was somewhat friendly to the Americans. Remember, this had been American territory. We did let them have their freedom and stuff after World War II, but we were always closely tied into our interests there on the islands. We have a major base there too. It's going to get overthrown, and there's going to have a president get elected. Her name is Corazon Aquino. We're going to have U.S. jets go into Libya and do a bombing raid, and that was in retaliation to a bomb at a West Berlin disco, a disco attack in the city of Berlin, Germany, that where American troops had been at and were killed. They were able to tie that in, that terrorist attack. Here's Ferdinand Marcos with his wife Imelda. She was famously known when they escaped and he was going to be killed, but she'll leave. She had like over 400 pairs of shoes. It was just crazy. Their country's in poverty and they're living the high life, basically, with that. Oh, I'm sorry. 2,500 pairs of shoes. There you go. It looks like a shoe store, doesn't it, Mally?
Yeah, like a
all
donut.
those shoes. Today, I will wear the sparkle sandals. What do you think? I could be that way with my running shoes, but this is just crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty
Okay.
tight.
Here is a scene where they were doing investigations after the bombing, where they found the tie-in to the Libyan officials. And this is the beginning of Paris attacks, y'all. Start in the 1980s, 83, 84. And since then, about every 5 to 6 years, we have some type of a terrorist attack. Here's the leader of Libya, Muammar al-Gaddafi. He's crazy.
Mm.
He's recently passed away too, but he's crazy. We're going to have the Iran-Contra scandal. Because U.S. hostages were captured in Lebanon, and then also to support the Sandinistas in Nicaragua. Reagan wanted aid to send CIA advisors and stuff to Nicaragua, but we were refused. And Iran's going to get the hostages released. Then that money from the arms that we got for selling the arms to him, we're going to give that to the Contras. Okay, this goes into, and then also Reagan had always promised that he wouldn't work with terrorists. Well, he's working with terrorists right here because he's giving them money with that on two sides. So November 1986, this came out in the news, and he was just like, no, didn't do anything wrong, and this was kind of a stain. It did not have enough of an impact where they wanted to impeach him, because he had control of the House and the Senate at the time. But it did cause a lot of bad taste. People have a tendency to forget about it now. It says in the last bullet point that, his foreign policy with the Soviet Union was, overshadowed because of this. I would say it's the opposite. I would say the Iran-Contra affair has disappeared in history. And this whole idea that he knowingly went behind people's backs and secretly did these illegal activities, which is no different than what we just saw with Trump in his impeachment trial, the accusations. So it's something very similar. We have a bureaucracy and we have checks and balances in place so that we don't have a dictator or authoritarian figure take control of the presidency. And what he was doing is something that a dictator or authoritarian leader would do. So he did come out open in March of 1987. I can remember watching this in my dorm down in the lounge, and he openly admitted it. Yes, I was wrong. I did this. And his speaking voice and such, with Ronald Reagan, he always came across as sincere. He could have been telling you that he stole money from your grandmother and set fire to her house, but you would have been just listening to him like, oh, wow, okay, great. Because he had this amazing speaking voice and his persona in front of the TV cameras. We also do know that by late 87, 88, he was having the beginnings of Alzheimer's, and he eventually passed away from complications of Alzheimer's. Because of this, it started coming out. This is when we started finding out more about his beginning stages of Alzheimer's. is that as they were doing the investigations, they found out he was napping, he wasn't paying attention. You know, it wasn't interesting him. Well, we now know that there was a lot more going on. But despite the scandal, he still became incredibly popular with us, and even today, he's still a popular president. So
Mm-hmm.
now the idea of lowering taxes increases government revenue doesn't always work. So they had huge tax cuts, but they continued to spend on the military. So that's why our deficits were huge. So our debt went up to $2 trillion in 8 years of office. If you combine everybody from Carter to FDR, they hadn't exceeded the amount of money of what Reagan did in 8 years. So he was spending the money like crazy. There's national debt. Oh, that little thing. Why won't that go away?
Expand.
Nice to 600. I mean 6,000.
So you can see the debt kind of start off low, and then it just rockets all the way up. And then it is continued. Bush is going to get elected in 88. Clinton gets elected in 92, and it still has continued. Our national debt has still continued to just rocket upward. So it really started with Ronald Reagan. Okay.
Thanks, man.
So the Republican, you know, some people are like, oh, it's because of the Democrats. It's the 8 years of Clinton and 8 years of Obama. No, it started right here in those 8 years of Reagan and Republicans and their Reaganomics, right there.
Republicans.
So the huge deficits could be one of his failures. We started owing money to foreign lenders, especially the Japanese, and then of course now we've seen the high movement of manufacturers going to China and Mexico with that, because it's cheaper to produce things than it is here in the United States. With that, they were trying to cut back on social programs, but in some cases it made social programs get bigger because more people were out of work and needed help with that. We're going to stop at this political cartoon. Further sacrifices. So he's sacrificing to the gods of tax cuts and military spending. And to feed the military spending fire, he needs more domestic spending to be cut. So there they go. Off to slaughter. So, okay, we're going to stop there. Any questions?
No.
No? Okay. Hey. All right. We ready to Kahoot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Oh, no, we're not Kahooting. I'm sorry. Wrong class.
Darn it.
We are doing...
No Kahoot? Oh, no.
I wanted to do some good old Kahoot.
Yeah, no, we're doing IXL. I'm sorry.
Oh, not IXL. Oh, man.
Yeah. Okay, so
What?
we're going to go to level E.
What?
Hold on. I need to get there first.
D21.
Okay.
Bill Gates.
What level?
On the
What?
Level E.
it's on the
I'm putting it in chat, just so you know.
yes.
Yeah,
Put it
please.
in the chat.
Yeah, put it in F in chat.
Yes.
What's that
Level
thing?
F.
Ooh, Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
My boy, Bill Gates.
Yes.
This should be good.
Goodness, if
Boy.
we didn't have Bill Gates, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing
Bill
right
Gates,
now.
baby.
5 out of 7.
Right. So we're going to do the IXL. Okay.
E.
ED2.
Yep.
I need to mute.
Level ED2.
D2 is Paul Revere, though.
No, not D2. It is, it's D21.
Oh, my bad. I didn't read that correctly.
And I saw it on Google Classroom, Miss Peterson.
Yeah, Bill Gates. D21.
I saw it on Google Classroom, Miss Peterson.
I couldn't hear you, Melly. What?
Oh, sorry. It's on Google Classroom. I saw.
Okay, awesome.
So.
Yeah, level E, D21.
Bill Gates is from the Pacific Northwest. Where did he grow up? Oh,
Somewhere over the rainbow.
somewhere near the Pacific, right?
Somewhere over the rainbow, Aaron? Seriously?
Did he live in Seattle? New York?
That's not New York.
Seattle. Chicago. No.
Seattle is the answer.
Thank you.
Seattle?
Oh, yep, Bill Gates grew up in Seattle. He had one.
Oh,
older
I was
sister.
correct. Oh, you almost
Father was a lawyer, his mother was a
deception
teacher.
me right there. That meant he tried to be the best, my man.
Bill Gates always wanted to win. He hated losing anything. That meant he
You became interested.
he hated sports.
I think if you're competitive, you would like sports, right?
He tried his best.
Yeah.
How did Bill Gates get good at making computer programs? He probably went to school.
Bill Gates went to school. He became a computer How did Bill Gates get good at making computer programs?
Oh, he spent many. Oh, well, that makes right. That makes sense.
He spent many hours writing. Yep, I got that. The first computer program Bill Gates wrote was for playing tic-tac-toe. Huh.
Which example is software?
Computer programs work on software, computer software.
That's software right there. I know more things about computer. Bill Gates and his friend Paul Allen started Microsoft. What is Microsoft? Minecraft. I'm just kidding.
What is Microsoft? A large bank.
A large bank.
A computer programming club. Tell me that makes computer software.
Bill Gates did not take any risk when starting and leading his new business.
That is false.
That is false.
He did take risks.
No, but it said the meaning of risks, and that was
Oh.
false. A company named IBM asked Microsoft to make an operating system for IBM.
Remember the first IBM computer?
Oh, dude.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
It was a monster.
It was a humongous boy.
It was a dinosaur.
Okay, do y'all remember in the scene
Oh,
from,
software. Darn it. Oops, I messed up.
Yeah.
Figures where the director of the programming told them to cut open knock the wall out because they hadn't made the wall. They didn't think to measure the machine to see if it would fit in the doorway because it was so big.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, I got that wrong.
Oh yeah.
I don't know my differences between my Windows 1 and then
Well, yeah. Same.
Rippo. I didn't have a computer back then, my guy. So
Yeah.
successful. Bill Gates made a lot of money. Of course he did. He's like richo, man.
Yep, he was mucho richo.
He was mucho.
Mucho richo.
Like I'm big. Like I'm chunky. It's about innovation and fairness. Innovation coming up with ideas or inventions.
It kept inventing new things. That's right.
Oh no.
Kept making new things, my guy.
Yep, always did.
Oh, I actually might be able to get this if I don't make one wrong.
People often use Bill Gates as an example of a successful entrepreneur. Based on Bill Gates' story, what do you think this word means? Oh, that's easy. Okay.
You got it. Steve Jobs. Oh, you seen that movie, Steve Jobs? That was made in 2000 something. I don't know when it was made. It was really interesting because it showed his development of making the iPhone and then the computers and all that stuff.
Yep, they helped when I helped start
What is the main goal? Foundation. Well, apparently it helps people's lives.
Finished.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why do many people look up to Bill Gates?
I believe that innovation is the most powerful force for change in the world. Bill Gates thinks that the key of solving the world's problem is similar or different from the key
Yes, I did it.
to running a successful.
On a stage.
Software.
Similar to, since he's 6. How many people look up to Bill Gates? Select all that apply. Why do many people? Whoops.
Yeah, be careful on that one.
Is it all the above?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's not. What is true about Windows.io?
Oh, shooty. I have to do it again. That's software. Yeah. Which of these was true about Windows 1? Use picture symbols and words. Yep.
Bill Gates meets Paul Allen.
Is that like earlier? That was like the first thing. No, wait, no. He became yeah. I don't know. Microsoft makes Windows.
Okay, so when I start with Windows.
Bill Gates and Paul
Yep,
Allen
Steve Jobs.
start.
Oh,
Oh, that's later. Okay, that's like legit later. All right, and
I got
then
an 88.
Microsoft
I'm done.
makes over. Microsoft makes Windows. Become. That's yep. I'm almost done. I believe. I hope. Yeah, I just have to finish this.
Finished. Finito.
Boop, boop, boop.
Finito, my guy.
Entrepreneur.
Awesome. Okay, if you're done, that's what I've got planned for today.
All right.
Oh boy.
We're just ending early. We're kind of
That's
in a
it.
halfway point where I don't want to go. It'll take me to the full class period what I want to teach tomorrow.
He did not start the company.
So finish that up.
May we go once we're finished?
Yes, ma'am, you're done.
Oh, bonus stage.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too. See you tomorrow.
Okay.
Correcto. Staying here until lunch. Just kidding.
Okay.
Stay here till lunch.
And on till 11:30.
Terrific. Hey, okay, I finished.
That's pretty good.
Hey, that's pretty good. All right.